Over the past couple of seasons, the French Grand Prix has become a bit of a staple of the LCR calendar, and that is where we set our scene for Season 8 for Round 6 of the World Championship. And of course, what better place to do it than here at Paul Ricard for this 15-turn circuit with the 2 opportunities of DRS, particularly of course down that straight at turn 7 and turn 8, which could really present a good opportunity for overtaking. Let's have a look at just a few minutes ago. We had a gripping and epic qualifying session, and here is your grid for it. So 3,000 separated the men on the front row. DTO Felipe, however, locks out his first LCR pole position with T10 Amazed right alongside him. On the head of the second row, it's CRG Morso that gets a bit of good luck. He starts in P3 with a chance leader BRL Sirah in P4. In the end, row 3 is the Canadian of BSR with Sims alongside him in P6. Row 4 in the end goes with their hometown boys. It's BRL Tibor out qualifying Chizu Kushito. Then row 5 rounding out top 10 with the Williams of KJ Gamer and the reserve driver of Jolly, this time in the Red Bull. Beginning that solid top 10 with French tyres, row 6, Blitzen starts from 11th with LCR Mulder alongside him. Row 7 is another all-reserve row with GSR Vivid for Racing Point alongside Boris Letterbox for Toro Rosso. In there looking back to row number 8, we've got Melanie alongside him, John Papp as well. Then we're looking back to row number 9. We've got Matt 212 for Haas with a veteran of LCR Apex starting from P18. In the final row, row 10 of the grid, LK91. And at the very back of the field, we have Drizz's event starting also for the Ferrari veteran team. As you can see, the drivers are thick and fast in the formation. That man, of course, is LCR Nut Head. Sadly, I am alone today. And of course, as I mentioned, talking about that qualifying session, it went right down to the wire. And Felipe set his lap time early in the session and didn't even have to do that final lap time. He went out again on the softs and actually made the mistake and cost him his opportunity for the final run, but it was enough to hold Amaze, but only just 3,000 between the two, and a further 10th back came CRG Morso on the softs as well. As you can see, it's medium tyres for Sirah, Dralex, Tibor, Buscito, KJ, Jolly, Blitzen, GSR Vivid, Boris Letterbox, Melanie, Apex, LK, Drizz's Revenge, soft tyres for the top 3 and for Sims, and then hard tyres for Mulder in 12th, John Papp 16th, Matt 212 in 17th as well. Looking back at the previous winners, there has only been 2 winners of the French Grand Prix. In Season 5, it went to Renault's Kingsley 21-25, of course, took victory for the hometown team, and it's been back-to-back victories for Leopard, but of course he's not here today, and we're guaranteed to crown a new French Grand Prix victor. The question is, will it be one of the 3 hometown lads, or can Sirah potentially do more to extend the chance lead, or could we even see a new winner? We'll have to wait and see as we get ready for the 5 red lights, which get ready to come on very shortly. The final few drivers of 20 park up on the grid. We now get ready for the lights, which build up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and LCR Season 8 is off. In Paul Ricard, good start from Maze on the first row, good start as well from Sirah on the second row, coming towards turn 1, immediately those come along, look at Morso as well, picked the inside, going 3 wide down towards turn 1, he's trying to take both Felipe and Maze, in the end it's 3 wide between the 2 runners and CRG Morso, more contact, there's another Alpha going through, I believe that's Tibble, there's also Williams, I believe that is Sims coming down towards turn 1, more contact again, there's swarms everywhere, that's Dralex going off, there's a massive crash, Dralex, and I believe that's Crescito, both going off, disaster for the hometown boy, and even worse for one of the championship contenders, VSC deployed, Matt 212 is forced off one of the escape road. Disaster start with cars going everywhere. The VSC is deployed and Amaze leads. Sirah second, Tibble third. In the end it's Sims fourth, Morso in fifth. The pole sitter Felipe down to 7th with KJ up to 6th as well. Absolutely chaotic start. This is the grid changing like mad. We get ready to go back to green flag racing as Matt let pretty much everyone go, because of course he's forced off one of the slip road right as the VSC was deployed. And we are back now to racing. As you can see, in terms of gains and losers, look at the gains that Tibor's made, up from 7th to 3rd in the opening lap. Just what he needed, and is currently back just over 1 second behind Sirah, who's in turn lost 1.6 to Amazed. He can begin to get to work on them soft compound tyres. Meanwhile, as you can see here, we've got Sims and Morso, then also KJ very much. We've got Alfa Romeo versus Williams battle here is 3rd down to 6th, all filled with them teams. Felipe, of course, drops back. In terms of further down as well, gains and losses, LK up from 19th to 14th. Melanie currently now alongside his teammate into 13th. I'm starting in 15th as well. You see Crescito down from P8 on the grid to P19 as a fast lap comes in there for T10 Amazed, who leads the first lap. Of course, 32.4. That's not going to be what we expect to see. 5-second penalty for Crescito for speeding the pit lane as he darts into the pits. It's disaster for his hometown race this weekend, but there's still plenty of race left to be done. More so, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings on the very first lap. That's a sign of potentially things to come for the Northern Irishman. Could be a long afternoon worth of penalty action for him. Meanwhile, Tibble very wide there at turn 5, using all of the track. Of course, there's plenty of runoff around here. Not really any sort of room where you can go into the gravel or go onto the grass. It's pure runoff area around here. Meanwhile, you see a bit behind, you've got Felipe hunting down KJ. Of course, he's on them medium tyres. We'll get the tyre screen up for you, as you can see. A lot of different compounds in the early laps, and you expect to see them soft runners mount a bit of a charge in the coming laps. As you can see, more so currently looking the strongest of them all. That Amazed, of course, he's getting away at the lead at the moment. And more so currently flying through towards turn 10. A more conservative line does Sims. This could be an opportunity now for Morso to close wide up through towards 11. Bit deep from Sims, massively deep. Here comes Morso towards the inside at turn number 11. I don't think he's close enough this time round. He's thinking about the opportunity in the coming laps. So far, however, fairly mutual with the leaders. 4th and 5th getting right up close together. As well, round towards the penultimate corner. He's still trying to think about it. Meanwhile, just a bit of a conga line forming here. Sims, Morso, KJ, Felipe, Jolly, Blitzen, Vivid and Boris all stuck in a second to one another, and you got Mulder for 1.26 pack on them hard compound tyres in a good position. Just gone a bit deep there and lost the rear end out the final corner. It's been an opportunity for Melanie now to take advantage, come down towards turn 1. I don't think he's close enough, however, this time round. He is not. The Finn has to slide him behind. Sims really strong out of turn 2. Here comes Morso towards the inside, down towards turn 3. Side by side goes the Williams and the Alfa Romeo. The 2 mil contenders. Oh, he goes off. Sims goes off there at turn 3. He's going to rejoin the track in a 10-second time, but if a corner cutting, he'll surely have to let Morso go, and he does. So Sims now down to 5th. Next up in the pecking order is his teammate who's on the medium compound tyres. Who will have DRS? It's actually Sims that has DRS. But here comes KJ on his teammate. He's going to surely take him. He will indeed to the inside line. Will Sims let him go though? Down the inside goes KJ. Pushes his teammate just about off and prevents him. Had a bit of a dig back. So KJ now into 5th. Sims losing 2 positions and has a 10-second penalty to his name. Jolly right on the back of Felipe, but he was also right on the back of Sims. Come down towards turn 10. See if Felipe pops off the inside. Tries to go down the inside through towards his long swooping turn 10. He tries it. Now towards turn 11. Real sort of racing we got involved here. Jolly a bit in the background as well. Sims goes off. That forces Jolly to get through as well. He's ahead. Sims has lost almost 4 positions in 1 lap. Now Blitz on the outside of him down towards turn 12. Sims is falling apart here. Losing another position of Blitzen. Now to Vivid. Sims really struggled on this lap as well. Now coming up towards the penultimate corner, lets Boris go, his former teammate, and in the end that is absolute disaster for the Williams driver who now pits. Has he got front wing damage? I think he might do, given the fact of what we saw on that lap. We'll have to wait and see. I didn't see anything. Meanwhile, what has happened to Amazing? He's dropped to 3/10 ahead of Sirah. Them soft tyres really degrading quickly, and this could be an opportunity now for the Brazilian. The 2 championship contenders, really, the protagonists, if you will, now up for an opportunity to come together on track. Coming up towards turn 5. Now the kink at 6. And then finally give me another kink at turn 7. DRS will be wide open for Sirah, and this could be an easy move ready for Brazilian. DRS open, here he goes, pops out the inside. The Scotsman doesn't always have a lot to defend really, down the Mulsanne straight towards the chicane, and Sirah gets himself into the race lead and now can begin to doing what Sirah does best, getting himself into the lead and driving off into the distance. Amazed loses the lead after having it for just 4 laps. Meanwhile, as you can see, the Mulder and Melanie battling away for 11th there, of course, after the pitters as well. Mulder, of course, on the hard tyres, got to think about his race time here. Melanie, of course, trying to get the mediums, needs to get past on the better tyres. Coming out towards turn 10, he's got the inside line, has the McLaren. The Red Bull going to try and on the outside, I don't think he is. Backs off, lets him go. Here comes LK, though, the hometown lad, trying to put on a show as well. Both McLarens trying to find a way past the Red Bull. Mulder very much holding his ground, however, this time round through towards turn 12. LK still on the inside, still, however, Mulder holds it on the outside, almost comes together, but holds it together just about. But now, of course, we just watched the battle between the leaders. As you can see, Sirah begins to fly away into the race lead, and that could be a sign of things to come, really. Meanwhile, KJ getting close to the back of more so. And as you see, Jolly also very much with Felipe, who goes deep at turn 1. This could be an opportunity now as it also gets second time penalty. Switch back for Jolly, coming down towards turn 3. Felipe trying to, there comes Blitzen, trying to get past Jolly. Took advantage of a poor out of turn 2. Down the inside goes the Haas, and surely he'll punish him for his mistake. And he does now. Vivid on the inside line of Jolly as well, coming towards turn 5. The Racing Point trying to take advantage as well. He couldn't quite, but a great move out of nowhere there for Blitzen. And he gets some in a P7 and might even be P6 because of the DRS down the Mulsanne straight. Here comes the reserve. What a display he's had and what a season he's had. Shame he is a reserve because he could have scored so many points this season. Picks out the inside onto Felipe, covered it off. Down the inside he goes and past ruthlessly he goes. And simultaneously KJ gets past more so into 4th he goes. He is now one of the higher medium runners as well. Looking in a really strong position in this race. Felipe looking to come back at Blitzen, I believe, coming out to turn 10, taking the momentum you get from the slipstream, coming around that corner. Also, you've got Morso still trying to look for a way back past KJ. Couldn't quite. Blitzen takes a deeper line, but due to the tyre advantage, also can hold that one. Meanwhile, now it's Boris actually got past Vivid as well behind, but now Johnny's got to try and find a way past DTO Felipe, who's clearly trying on them. So another sort of twitch out of turn 12, now towards 13, and then the turn 14. Jolly is at the inside of Felipe, trying to squeeze out, almost onto the pit road there. Now towards the final corner, around the outside, goes Jolly on Felipe, and gets past and swoops past. Meanwhile, Tibble passes Amazed. I did actually miss that one. Into second goes the Frenchman on his home race. That could be what he needs. 2.1 seconds now back to Sirah, who leads the way fairly comfortably. So Jolly now into 7th. You've also got Morso still sticking to the back of KJ, but you've also got Blitzen closing right up to the back of him, so we could see an opportunity here for the Haas to get past. These soft runners are beginning to die, and you wonder when are they going to pit, because this traffic might cost them later in the race. Here we go, down towards turn 7, under the helicopter cam. DRS will be open for both the drivers. Now coming out towards the chicane, there's also Boris in the background, I believe, on the inside of DTO Felipe. But here we go, down towards the chicane. Down the inside goes Blitzen on CRG Morso, and I think Blitzen is sort of let go there, really, as Boris also flies past the Renault driver. So now Felipe down to 9th, and now got GSR Vivid as well for company. He's fallen down the order, really needs to consider pitting to get off these tyres and get the hammer down, really. More so, however, still sticking with Blitzen and KJ. Blitzen getting close to KJ. Of course, these two very good friends. I'm sure they're probably discussing what they're going to do and working together as a team really in the next few laps. They're 5 seconds back from Amazed in terms of a second back from Tibble, who is in turn 2 seconds back from the leader Sirah. So still a long way to go for them two. Meanwhile, LK gets past his teammate there. Boulder down the inside of John Pap here through towards turn 12. Both on the hard tyres here. Both scrolling really the track position later in the race. Of course, they're going the distance as pit stops coming in. Felipe in for his pit stop. Morso ever stays out on his set of tyres. So he's playing the longer game here than what Felipe is. Let's see what tyres Felipe goes on to. It is hard tyres, so he can take them to the end. Not close enough, really. Now towards 11. You see, that's also Boris in the background as long as GSR Vivid. So those guys really sort of on the back as well. They're still within an arm's reach. Jolly knows he's got to get past more, so picks his line towards turn 12. Tries the outside. Might swoop around the outside towards turn 12. Not really a favourite overtaking manoeuvre, but as easy as you like. More so sort of gave him the sort of agreement, if you will, because he's probably coming to the pits, and he is. Into the pits comes Morso, into the pits comes Amazed, but that was a beautiful move nevertheless around the outside, and a sign of really that this battle could be ignited now. You've got KJ Blitzen, Jolly, Boris, Vivid, all within a second of one another. This could be a real feisty few laps. Amazed goes on mediums. What about Morso though? We've still got tyres. The Alfa Romeo goes on, I believe it's mediums as well. It is indeed medium compound tyres, so they're going to try and take them to the end if they can. They can, to be fair. You've just got to make sure you're a little bit careful. Tibble gets a 3-second time put as well early on. That's not a good sign, really. But it's 7 seconds behind, which more importantly means that he's even further behind Sirah now and got a mountain to climb if he wants to beat the Brazilian today. Going around towards 7. Rumble with Blitzen here. He's on the back of KJ, which has now become a battle for the podium positions. Might not be when all the pit stops going, but here comes Blitzen to the inside line of KJ and fully takes advantage and takes P3 away from the Williams driver. So the reserve now into third. So far a great show for the reserve drivers. The overcast coming over here at the French Grand Prix, and well, you have to wonder when are we going to see, if we're going to see any rain at all. We haven't been forecast for any, but you never know sometimes with Codemasters games, they could pop up in an instant. So now LK into 7th, Melanie down to 8th. So not really stopping their battle. Meanwhile, comes more so on Boris. He's going to try a lunge through towards turn 8. Thinks about it. The Northern Irishman a bit too far back this time round. Down towards the kink at turn 9. Now down towards the fast turn 10 as the race leader pits on lap 10. Into the pits comes BRL Sirah. So Tibble stays out to take the lead of the French Grand Prix, and it's hard tyres going on for Sirah. So I suspect to see that's what potentially the strategy is going to be. But let's see where he funnels out really with regards to traffic as Melanie pits as well. In terms of anyone else pit, I don't see anyone else points to the pit. So it's just them two on this lap. Where is Sirah though with regards to traffic? Coming down towards turn 1. He's going to come out behind John and Mulder. So that could be a really interesting prospect because there is about 4 cars in between him and his next real opportunity. As Amazed has got some traffic, he's got Matt 212, LCR Apex and Judas Revenge as well. It's just come out about just ahead. You see Melanie also come out fairly on his own there in P18. Prosciutto miles behind. He's still stuck it out, bless him, so you have to give him credit where credit's due in P19 after pitting on the very first lap. Boris, meanwhile, still struggling with them tyres, and this could be an opportunity for CRG more so to get past, going towards turn 6. Going to get the DRS very shortly. You see Jolly there very close to the back of KJ as well. That's what happens there. Meanwhile, Matt is passed by Amazed, but here comes... This could be a real crucial battle later in the race. Boris can defend on the inside, round the outside, goes more so. Boris trying to hold his on the inside line through towards the kink at 9. He'll get the feeling Morse going to squeeze him out, and he does. So into 14th goes Boris, more so, but that more or less the battle further up. Meanwhile, Jolly is right towards the back of KJ. The second place man on net pits in here on Tibble. What does anyone else do? Blitzen and KJ come in. Jolly stays out. Vivid in. I suspect LK might pit as well. So he's seen his teammate pit last lap. Yes, he does. I mean, Jolly will take the lead of the Grand Prix. KJ 5 second better speed in the pit lane. That's disaster really for the Williams. In comes the Haas. Let's see if he gets held because he might very much do here. Past goes Mulder and John Papp and Sirah as well. He spots up to the outside line on John Papp and passes him into P3. Tibble out of the pits. He's going to just about come out ahead of a mate who's just gone round the outside of Judas Revenge down towards turn 1. So he's now right on the back of Tibble and on the medium tyres might start. Comes with a nuisance for him. KJ comes out right behind Morso and Boris because I believe that undercut has cost them, but Blitzen has lost a massive amount of time. He's down to 16th. He's even behind Sims, and he was the lead of this train. That is disaster really for him, and that could come crucial. Well, here comes Sirah on Mulder, passes him into P2, and gets himself now just one place away from being back where he rightfully should be in this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, in the train now forming up behind, you've got Morso, Boris, and KJ in a battle here. Just something for a second back. Then comes Felipe, who just popped bit behind Vivid, so it has really been a consequence really, but Blitzen is definitely the biggest loser of them all. 16th place. That is disaster really for him. Surely it's an opportunity now as into the pits comes Mulder and John Papp. Both of the hard combat tyre runners pit on lap 14, and there's still a medium combat tyre runner left to pit. They have all stayed out. They have all come in, sorry, but Jolly is still out on that set of tyres. Medium tyres going on for the both of them, and this could be an interesting strategy to see where they funnel out. Meanwhile, here comes Morster on Matt, down to 1. This could be a crucial move, really, in terms of the Grand Prix. Picks the inside, does the Northern Irishman, takes full advantage, brakes as well into 5th. Back into time penalty as well, and absolutely hunks the curve there at turn 2. Probably got a warning as well straight away after. Boris Limos next got driver behind him as well, along with KJ Gamer right behind him. So watch out for them to potentially try and find a way past the Haas driver as well. One of the helicopter cams we've got now coming towards turn 5. Everyone's taking a rickety line, but at different lines really. And here comes the opportunity now for Boris and for KJ. As you see, Morso already pulled out 6/10, nearly a second already to Boris and KJ at the back behind Matt. But here they come down towards turns 8 and 9. Thinks about a move, does try to move down the inside, does Boris, trying to take full advantage, bit of contact between the two, forces a sort of moment when it sort of slowed down. Now comes on turn 9, onto the curb goes Boris, now down towards turn 10, still round the outside he goes, now coming towards the long and very quick turn 10, around the outside goes Boris Lerbox, on that section now, surely has to slow him behind, and does. Here comes KJ trying to look to the inside, down towards turn 11, Boris forced to go defensive. This could be a compromising move now, round the outside goes KJ through towards turn 11, and now the hill climb towards turn 12, down the inside goes goes KJ Gamer on Boris Letterbox to reclaim the position he lost in the early stage of the stint. Now towards turn 13, the kink of 13. KJ bit of oversteer. Now towards the penultimate corner. Down the inside goes KJ still trying to find his way with the outside for the penultimate corner. Boris still trying to defend him just about. Hits the curve, does Boris, trying to get the best traction they can on the exit. Both get the DRS, both got the straight line speed advantage. Coming down towards turn 1. Here comes KJ still on the inside line. Is he able to hold it just about? Boris will be able to defend him. Down to 1, tries to play as late as possible. Bit of contact, bit of a squeeze, and just about I think Boris will hold it. Coming out of turn 2, down towards turn 3, but still KJ tries to find the inside line. Down towards turn 3, down the inside, still goes KJ on Boris. Just about towards turn 4, he holds it for now. What an incredible duel that was for a few corners. That is without a doubt one of the battles of the season. Boris versus KJ, but P7 going to be higher in the race as the pit stops come in. But how about that? But here we go for Boris. Immediately takes full advantage and passes Matt. Bit of a shove there in the end off. Down towards turn 8. A bit of a weed there for Matt's episode. What on earth was that? But now KJ going to try and find a way past the Haas driver as well, coming out towards turn 9. Going to pick up the slipstream as well. Going to pick up probably the ERS advantage, because I believe Matt is sort of letting him go a little bit. Probably to try and get a bit of his own back at Boris now. Passes, does KJ Gamer. And now he can begin to close back up towards Boris levels if he can. But they've crucially dropped outside the second window. Jolly's into the pits, however, after being closed right up towards Sirah. Finally yields and comes in, but crucially Sirah gets DRS advantage as well. But Jolly in for his potentially what early stop. He's going on to the soft compound tyres. He's doing a medium soft strategy, which means he can absolutely get the hammer down on the next few laps. But the question is, where's he going to come out? Because it's a very long pit lane and there's a lot of cars here, as you can see. Matt's still out on his set of hard tyres. Where is Jolly? He's only now about to get up to speed now. Past goes Blitzen, past goes Matt, just about down towards turn 1. Can he come back? He can just about. In the end, Matt forced a break, as was Felipe. Boris gets a 3-second time penalty, but now Jolly can get the hammer down on them soft compound tyres, and there's only a few cars ahead of him. This could be a real opportunity now for Jolly with that alternate strategy, but he's got to get moves done ASAP. First up on his hit list is Blitzen in the Haas, who had an awful pit stop. Jolly probably can't believe that he's down in this position. But here we go, out towards the kink at turn 7. There should be an easy move from the Red Bull straight one, and then fresh soft compound tyres. Picks the inside line, down towards turns 8 and 9. Picks it out as easy as you like, sweet as a nut, into P7. But here goes meanwhile, bit of contact, bit of a Haasman I think there for KJ, as Boris and KJ came slightly together there, out towards turns 8 and 9. And this could be a real sort of squabble that can continue. And now GSR Vivid, Jolly, Blitzen, and well, potentially Felipe as well, because Matt's still got to pit. But Sirah now leads the French Grand Prix by 7 seconds over Errol Tibble, who's in P2. Matt T10 Amazed in P3 on their medium compound tyres, trying to make them go the distance. They've still got a very long way to go. Needs to hope them tyres hold out. Meanwhile, Vivid is under threat here from Jolly, coming down towards the penultimate corner. Tries to find the inside. I believe he might try it down towards 1 and 2. Get the DRS advantage. Still the Vivid goes defensive. That's going to leave him compromised on the exit. The switchback is more than on as Matt pits. So this means this battle becomes for P7 at the moment. And past goes Jolly on them soft tyres. Next up, however, is KJ, Boris and Morso. So before you know it, Jolly could be in P4 before we even get the chance to really look at drivers ahead. If he can, that is. KJ very much trying to hold Jolly up here through towards turn 6 with this tyre advantage. Look at the exit that he gets in terms of exit speed. Now coming out towards turn 7, he gets a 3-second time, but that's probably going to fuel the fire in him really to get past. DRS wide open for all of the drivers. As you can see, straight on advantage doesn't really go to anyone other than Boris on Morso. Here goes Jolly over to the outside line of KJ, now to the inside through towards turn 9. Tries to squeeze out the Williams and does. KJ now down to 7th and Jolly gets past. That means the next on his train is Boris Leverts, and believe me, these two have some old rivalries that always seem to come back together. Blitzen gets past Divid as well into P8. He goes on a comeback drive. Meanwhile, Boris picks the inside on the Morso, coming towards turn 11. Is he going to try and get past? He is indeed. Now coming up the wall towards turn 12. And round the outside goes Boris Letterbox on CRG Morso. Is he going to try and hold it the long way around for the Toro Rosso? There's Alpha still trying to hold his own on the inside. Now coming up towards the penultimate corner. Jolly tries to get himself involved as well. He picks the line of Boris on the outside line. Morso as well now on the defensive against Jolly as well. And has to shorten let him go through towards 15, and he does. So Boris now leads the train. Jolly gets past Morso, loses 2 positions in the space of about 2 corners, and now Jolly sets his sights on Boris, and that's surely the train cleared. Next up though, Morso still trying to find a way back past. He loses 2 positions. He's got to hold his own and keep his nerve, because he's got KJ on the back as well, and he's going to spend an opportunity to get past as well. But what a move from Boris Letterbox, and equally opportunistic stuff there from Jolly. Even with a tyre advantage, he still had to work for that one. And now we've got an opportunity for Boris to potentially drop to P5 and Jolly get himself at the lead of this train. And we've got 7 seconds and about 7 laps to a very old medium runner of Amazed, but I don't think Jolly's close enough. Paul X over turn 6. Then we go down towards the 8 and 9 chicane. Jolly closes and closes on Boris. He's going to try the lunge. He is going to try lunge. Goes down the inside of Boris. Boris leaves the window open, but he was not close enough. And now trying to hold his own through towards Dine. Traction advantage so much for the Red Bull. Here we go out towards turn 10. Slipstream, of course, no DRS down this part, down towards the fast flowing turn 10, around the outside. He's also seen KJ trying to find a way past Morso as well, almost simultaneously. Here we go through towards turn 11. KJ gets past. Jolly also might find a way and finds his way down the inside. Past he goes past Boris Letterbox. He's into 4th, Boris down to 5th, and next up for him could potentially be Amazed. But crucially now, KJ is within arm's reach of Boris, and I'm sure they have got an old rivalry to settle from earlier in the race just a few laps ago. On lap 26 now for the race, the penultimate lap of racing for Sirah. It's a very little camera time, but can you blame us really, because he's in a very dominant display for him. He has just brisked on clear and is now set to claim victory number 4 of the season. Now get close to joining a good club of race victors. Let's put respect, LCR Apex 6 victories, Pepsi 7. 4 victories for Mac212, who's currently down in P14 in this one, as the 2 guys got positioned very late on. Clone Troop, Kingsley, Dralex as well, Mulder. All these drivers have 4 or more wins alongside John Papp as well. T10 Amazed, 5 victories, which does mean at the moment Sirah is only 1 victory away from potentially equaling T10 Amazed's win record after only being here for 6 races, and that's his main championship contender. Goes to show what a season it could be for this man. But of course, as we've seen, when he gets held, he does get held. But here comes KJ on Boris, closing right down towards turn 9. It was left and right. Boris defended just about. That was really, really high risk manoeuvres from the both of them. That could have been absolute tears. Boris begins to close back up to Jolly, but we'll have penalty advantage as well. And down towards the turn 10 now. Here comes KJ, picks the inside towards turn 11. Down the inside goes KJ Gamer on Boris. Around the long swooping right-hander. He's got to hold his own again. Bit of contact between the two. Now up towards turn 12. Here's KJ Gamer. Look, he's going to try and lunge it down the inside. Boris leaves in the room, but in the end the momentum too much, and Boris holds on to 5th place. If these two continue battling, it still opens up more opportunities behind as well. Blitzen and Morso are going to be on their toes as Sirah begins his final lap of racing now. Well, I say that, he began about 3 quarters ago. Meanwhile, Blitzen has gone for a move on Morso, couldn't quite just yet. What about KJ? Is he close enough to try Boris? No, I think the main attempt will be down towards 8 and 9. Mulder passes Vivid on the last lap to get something to P9. Good move by the reserve Red Bull. He's surely looking for a full-time seat potentially soon. He's been racing a lot of rounds recently. LK also passes the man that got his first pole position. You thought maybe this was the momentum that the Brazilian needed. Oh, good goodness me. Bit of a jolt and lag there. A nice last hometown hurrah. As meanwhile, Blitzen and Morso still summers on the very last lap of racing here. Down towards turn 7. Down the inside goes Morso on the defence, trying to defend off just about. A bit of contact between the two. Both going to, oh, in fact, no, it's only Morso's got DRS because Blitzen got outside the DRS window. Here comes KJ on Boris, picks the outside line, down towards 8 and 9. Boris breaks late. Now the switchback could be on, through towards turn 9. Surely not. Now towards the long, swooping, flat out turn 10. Here he comes. Is he going to try? He's going to go to the outside, down towards turn 10. We're going to have to move on to Sirah very shortly. But around the outside goes KJ on Boris just about and passes him crucially. But here comes Sirah. He has been dominant from minute 1 to minute 45. BRL Sirah wins the French Grand Prix and makes it 2 French Grand Prix for the French team of Renault. Errol Thibault brings home a hometown podium for France in P2 today, but I don't think he might actually hold it on penalties because it makes the drop 9 seconds up to the line. Is he going to be up towards the line? It is just about 6 thousandths. Amazed takes P2 away from Thibault by 6 thousandths of a second. Jolly finishes 4th, KJ 5th, Boris beats them both on those, he finishes 4th, Mulder in, Vivian finishes in 6th, KJ 7th, Mulder 8th, Blitzen 9th, Felipe brings on the final point as Morso is dethroned. What about Melanie? Can he beat him as well? I don't think he will. Up towards the line, and it is going to be P11 in the end for him. It's going to be P13, but more so in the end after crossing the line at about P6. He's got so many decent penalties, but BRL Sirah wins. But Tibor is beaten by Amazed on penalty by 6 thousandths of a second. Nothing to split them, but the Scotsman crucially brings home that level of points, 18 points, and means that the gap is only 9 points heading into the next round. So there is your final result screen for you. So Sirah wins in the end in France, with T10 Amazed in second. Errol Tibor finishes in third with plenty of penalties, meant he missed out by 6 thousandths over T10 Amazed. Boris finishes 4th after loads of time that was being added on. Jolly finished 5th after doing the ultimate strategy, the medium to soft, which was unusual but very much worked out in his favour. Vivian finishes 6th with KJ Gamer in 7th. Myself, very much watching the support. It's been absolutely mega, and we'll see you same time, same place next week in the hills of Austria. Thank you guys again, and goodbye.